What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you not the review for Raw, not yet, but this is Marvel's Eternals. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was like too bad. It was just we get into it. It's like it's some things wrong with it, but it's not bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I'll put it to you that way. Um, the synopsis for the movie reads: The Eternals, a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have secretly lived on Earth for thousands of years, reunite to battle the evil deviants. So, you got the Eternals, then you got the Celestials and Deviants. You got all these people that's in play here, and the movie basically starts off with you getting an exposition about what is Celestials and the Eternals and the planet they come from and all that type of stuff. You get a little. It's like I want to say it's almost like how when Star Wars come on, you see the big Star Wars, and then it's like the text. You see the text coming up. It doesn't do like Eternals, and then like that, but it does give you that text style as it going up for the Eternals. That's like I think that's like the very first thing you see. It's just this text explaining the Eternals and the Celestials they work for and whatnot and what for, and you pretty much get a sense of what their mission is. Their mission is to help the Celestial create life, basically. But it's the way he does it that's like the conflict of this movie. The finding out the truth about how the Celestial brings these new life is starting to wane on them, especially when they come to Earth. But yeah, they're sent to Earth. They're sent to Earth. They awaken. They awaken on the spaceship. When they on the spaceship, this is the first time they're meeting each other. And then I think the first people, you see everybody looking around, seeing each other stuff. But the first people to say something to each other is Icarus and Cersei. They're looking out into the vastness of the space and the stars and stuff, and Cersei, like, it's beautiful, isn't it? And Icarus is like, my name is Icarus. He said Cersei, and then they go to Earth and they blossom into this love story of centuries and stuff. Because you gotta remember, these are Eternals. They never get old. They can die though. They can die. But they, unless you kill them, unless you actually kill an Eternal, unless you actually kill them, they'll live forever. And you see, they get to Earth in like I think that's like before. I think it was, I can't remember the exact year, but I know it was BC. I know it was before Christ. Hold on, I'm trying to see what the exact year was. I remember, I think it tells you what year it was when they finally get, 5,000 BC. That's what it was. So when they come to Earth, it's 5,000 BC, and it's 10 of them. You got Ajax, Cersei, Icarus, Kingo, Sprite, Fatos. It's like I said, Fatos. Makari, Druid, Gilgamesh, and Athena. They're sent to Earth because the deviants are on Earth, and you see these people, these fishing, these people, this man and his son fishing, back in 5,000 BC, how they fish, and is a deviate in the water like a shark going during like that. And they see it and they yelling at them, get out, get away, get out the water, get out the water. And they like, the son is like, what? And then he turns and looks, and then you see the father. He's seen it, and he's just like, in the native language, he's like, run, and it just attacks him and takes him. And before you get to attack the sun, you get the fight with you get the Eternals fighting with him, and this leads into a montage of them like over the centuries. Like they went from 5,000 BC to you know you know 5,000 BC in another century. Like at different points of the American history, you see them have been responsible for what we know today. Like with Icarus, the whole thing about Icarus being flying too close to the sun, and all the story of Icarus, we found out that Sprite is the reason why we know today that story, because she made that story up about the actual man Icarus. And then, so while they basically try to say, while we believe Icarus was just basically a horse with wings, Icarus was really a man who could fly. He was one of the Eternals, but Sprite made up the story. But that's how she felt about him. And you gotta remember, they are eternal. Even though Sprite is still a child, she over the years of living, those are able to physically mature and grow. She's technically an adult woman, and there's some unrequited love between Sprite and Icarus. Girl with a schoolgirl crush. But you gotta remember, she's not just a schoolgirl now. She's like technically an old, to be dusted woman. But so the Eternals basically, they go out the history doing this and doing that, and then you see Ajax, played by Salma Hayek, who contacts the Celestial, and he tells her that she's doing a good job and that they need to continue on the course, and that he will let them know when it's time, and when that mission is almost done, when they be moving on to a different planet. And then fast forward to the present. Actually, then you see a jester. You see Cersei do a jester, and they fast forward to the present, where that jester is on display now, and it is displayed as the event that elevated humanity or changed humanity, or something like that. And then now they're in the present time. You get to see what Cersei is doing now in the current time. Everybody, all the Eternals has now conformed to way how Earth is today. And you see Cersei. Back then it was like a stark contrast, like how they cut it. Like you saw Cersei was something primitive, and then it cuts to the present with her with a cell phone like this. But then you go on this leads them to doing that exposition of them going over time too. I forgot to mention that they was killing deviants, ridding the Earth of the deviants. And when they got to a set piece in that little montage of them going through time, it was a certain point in time. I think 1521 is when they get to a certain point where the last of the deviants are only like in one location on Earth, and once that location is rid of deviants, that'll be it. That'll be the deviants be eradicated from all of Earth. And then some things happen there and there. Now back to the present time, you see Cersei. You find out that the Eternals all have split up because throughout the time living on Earth, throughout those centuries, they wanted to be more independent. They wanted to actually experience and live among the humans and experience what it's like to be them. And they didn't just want to be the Eternals always on mission. They actually wanted to have a life. And Ajax decides to let them do that. So that's where we come to the present, where everybody's split and haven't even seen each other for centuries. Well, I was trying to say, no, they hid their ship. They good. We follow Cersei, leading to certain events happening, and Then we got the deviant attack from what we see in the trailers. Like when she in the street, she turned that bus into like those red flower petals. We eventually get there. Secrets is revealed. Into into her human boyfriend. That's what I'm trying. Dane Whiteman. Everybody knows Dane Whiteman in the comics is the Black Blade or Ebony Blade. I think that's to say. I said Black Blade, but it's actually Ebony Blade. If I'm correct, right? Yeah, I'm trying to see. And then he's yeah, he Ebony Blade. So we all know that he becomes this Marvel hero, Ebony Blade, and so this leads her through a series of events. It does lead to that scene where he asks why they didn't help with Thanos, with Thanos or any other war. They basically said because we're not, we was forbidden by the Celestial that we are forbidden to interfere in human affairs unless it involves deviants. If it doesn't involve deviants, they must sit back. And I do want to confirm that you do get the Thanos payoff of him being an internal. Like you do get that payoff in a big way. But yeah, in a big way, they didn't forget about that part of Thanos' history that he's a eternal. With so they kind of they put that in there for you. Maybe not throughout the movie, but it's a certain point in the movie where they address that about Thanos' history. But yeah, this leads to battle with the reemergence of the fact that there's deviants. So the movie then goes back and forth between the last time somebody seen this particular Eternal, and then the present when they go back to this particular Eternal, and that's how it does like the regathering of the Eternals. Eventually you gather some Eternals, and we get to a certain point where in the gathering of the Eternals, we found out that one of the Eternals is dead. They found out that one of the Eternals is dead, and it's presumed that the Deviants is the one who killed this Eternal. And then that's like in a gathering process. They was going to see this one particular Eternal. They're like, oh, we didn't even go see this person because they don't know what to do. But then when they get there, they see that particular Eternal is dead, and now it's like almost, it's not a full mystery because they suspect who killed this Eternal, to be the Deviants. But it's a mystery. It is a mystery going to why the Deviants are attacking their Eternals. And that's the mystery here, not the fact that it was a Deviant who killed this Eternal, but why? Why are they attacking? Because you're shown very quickly in the movie that Deviants typically attack humans. They never really gone after the Eternals, but now this change in MO makes it to the Eternals. Like, wait a minute, they never done this before. Why are they doing this now? And so now they had to go they realized, what's going on. They quickly try to gather all the Eternals to keep themselves safe because they know that the Deviants are actually attacking them for a specific reason. And the Deviants, they actually exhibit strength and characteristics they haven't exhibit before, and the movie tells you why they does this as well. I'm trying to see like this leads into them finding some more Eternals, and unfortunately, one of the times they get to a particular set of the Eternals, another battle with the Deviants ensued, which results in a Deviant killing another Eternal. So this is like the second Eternal to die in this movie. We there is an underlying problem with Thena. It's like she's got some like is I guess she got what is like the eternal, like whatever was wrong with Thena in this movie is like the eternal, superpower people version of having like Alzheimer's or some type of memory like split personality type thing where she'll be like basically talking to you like how I'm talking to y'all right now, blah blah blah. Then she'll start she'll start seeing like these power, like her powers will start going like through all her faces. She started glitching, like she's almost glitching, and then she starts saying some stuff, saying something that's too late, and they look at her like, "What are you talking about?" And then she'll look at them and get her weapons out and start attacking them for no reason. And they have to like almost calm her down to get her to snap out of it. And that's like another thing. That's like another theme in this movie is like what's going on with Thena and why is she having these episodes. They eventually go throughout trying to defeat the Deviants, trying to figure out what's going on until Cersei get a revelation about the Celestials and the Celestials' true plans. A plan that Ajax hid from the Celestials, save for one, maybe one, and this leads to the Celestials making a decision about. The Celestials, the Eternals making the decision about the Celestials, and thus we get a big set piece towards the end. A battle ensues, and some betrayal and decisions are made. But that also leads to the two. We got two post-credit scenes. A mid-credit and post-credit. But overall, the movie was pretty much enjoyable. Like, I'm not going to say it wasn't. I enjoyed Eternals. The things I do like about it, I like the visual effects, the some of the action set pieces, and some of the story, and mostly the storytelling. Like, the majority of the storytelling. The set pieces, the visuals, most of the storytelling, some of the comedy, not all the comedy, but some of the comedy within this movie. I love some of the comedy. I think like for me, like if I had to choose, like I'm not familiar with the Eternals comics beyond the fact that Thanos was one of them. That's pretty much my knowledge of the Eternals, is that I know Thanos was an Eternal. But I think like the breakout stars, like the people I really liked the most in the Eternals was Cersei, Thena, I like Fatso, and I can't remember what's that one guy's name. I'm trying to find Kingo. Okay, is that the dude I'm thinking? Yeah, Kingo was another. He was another. He was a funny guy. I like Kingo too. Yeah, I'm like I like something. I like those. I like Kingo. Cersei. I like Icarus for the most part, but his character seemed kind of stiff. But yeah, I like Cersei, Kingo, Fasho, and Thena the most, and I put Icarus in there a little bit. But they characters and their powers was cool. Gilgamesh was kind of cool too. But yeah, it just like I like that. I like the visuals, the storytelling. some of the things I liked, but some of the things I didn't like, because some of them didn't really make sense. It was like confusing, and that since we talked about it, this is now the my negatives for the movie. Um, some of the love triangle like stuff was kind of confusing because um, you guys Cersei and Icarus, and then you got Cersei and her human boyfriend and Dane, and it's just like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be in love with Dane, right? But it's like the story also is kind of telling like she was also in love. She's still in love with Icarus, even though she's supposed to have moved on from Icarus. You see that she the movie kind of at a certain point kind of gives you the impression that she might end up being with Icarus, and but then it jumps back to, oh no, I don't want to be with Icarus now. I want to be uh with Dane. And so like that little storytelling, uh, was a little off for me. But then, speaking of storytelling, pacing of this movie was kind of I wouldn't say it was all the way bad, but it was kind of bad because the pacing was good at a certain point, but then then it's like the directors and them were like, oh, we making a movie, so we just got to this point in the movie where it's like, oh wait, we still taking it to this level, and now we got to go. So the pacing is okay. It's like 50-50. Is at one point it's okay, then it just becomes rushed, and that's because you got a whole bunch of you got 10 people, and this is like one of my biggest gripes with the movie is the pacing, because the pacing leads to character development, and this is why I said this is the biggest gripe with the movie, is that because it's 10 people, and we're supposed to, it's a movie, but it's 10 people, and then we're trying to connect with these 10 people, but you really can't, because it's a movie, right? It's a 2 hour and a half movie, or 2 hours and 45 minutes. So how can we connect with 10 different people? And the movie tries as its best, but we really don't get that connection with them, to the point where when we do get these deaths, they don't really mean anything. Like like for me, and I've been honest and 100% honest, when we got the two deaths in the movie, the two Eternals who died, I felt nothing. I was just like, huh, okay, huh. It was supposed to, but they conveyed in the movie these deaths had emotional weight, but I couldn't beyond a betrayal. Like I did get that connection of like, why could you do that? That's betrayal. But it's like at this point I didn't care. Like I didn't care for the two deaths at all. Like, so that's why I said character development was a big problem for me, because. And then I heard people's theories saying that maybe this should have been like a Disney Plus TV series instead of a movie, that way, where when we got to certain points like these, like killing off of the Eternal, you would get the more emotional weight investment into it. And I think maybe that could have been the case here. That maybe this should have been a Disney Plus series, but I don't know. But yeah, for me, the pacing, the confusing storytelling, character development, and that character development leads to another big gripe, which is the underwhelming villain. Like, there's the villain of the movie, which is one of the deviants who have this unique ability that when he does something to an Eternal, he goes through like a Cell like metamorphosis. It's like he's almost like Cell. So imagine Cell from DBZ, where when he absorbs the androids, that's basically what he does in this movie. He absorbs something and he transforms into his next form. you know, and that I didn't care about him at all. Like he was just an underwhelming. He was very underwhelming. He's a very underwhelming villain, and I couldn't care less. Um, I really didn't care about them. It didn't like I didn't feel like because of like I said, you got 10 characters, you got the villains, you got everybody you trying to flesh out, and it just didn't work, and it didn't work in the form of me caring about two of the the Eternals devs or the villain. So you have that. The last negative before I get out of here was that I didn't. The comedy for me was hit and miss. Like so, it was like some things made me go, okay, that was funny a little bit, okay, but nothing had me like gut busting. Wasn't like gut busting comedy, um, which in turn too was like So is this movie? What is this movie trying to be? Is it trying to be like a action comedy? Like you got a lot of comedy, then you got the action and the serious moments, and I get it, the whole theme of family and stuff like that. But it was like some of the stuff was just hit and miss with the comedy and the storytelling. But with all that being said, if I were to give Eternals anything, I would give it a 7 out of 10 big ups because the movie was good. The movie was good. It was entertaining. I could possibly see myself buying this movie. I won't say it was horrible, but it just with this pacing and the underwhelming. The note I don't get a sense. I didn't like when I say I didn't get a sense of and like you could have killed all the Eternals and I still wouldn't have felt anything. Because the character development is so rushed and it's not there enough for us to have that connection. And like it did get you to feel something. I'm not gonna say it didn't make you feel something. You felt something like when both the Eternals was taken, you felt something. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to make you go, man, that was messed up. Like, oh man, like it didn't really get to you. It was just like, that's kind of messed up. Like I kind of feel for and revoke that response out of you. And even with the villain, the villain was kind of forgetful, the deviant villain, and his whole reason for doing what he's doing, doing what he's doing, kind of underwhelmed me. Like I said, I understood Cell more than I understood this character. That to put in perspective. But yeah, that's all I got. But let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie Eternals. If you enjoy Eternals, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much that you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that post notification button so you get notified when I drop videos. Remember, it's all free. So no pressure, but please, for me and for the channel, subscribe. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go nowhere because I got the wrestling review coming up next.